The seaside town of Weston-super-Mare in Somerset is gearing up for the 28th running of the Weston Beach Race, as the riders and the fans flock in their thousands to be part of and experience this iconic event. A race that has become the biggest fixture in the UK's off-road calendar. Over the weekend, the competitors take part in grueling races over formidable obstacles. It gives the average riders a chance to line up with world champions as they battle it out on the deep, energy-sapping sand, all eager to get on the podium at the legendary Weston Beach Race. So sit back, race fans, as we bring you all of the highlights from this magnificent off-road festival.
Fingers crossed, yeah, it's looking good, weather's good, entry's good. We had a few issues last year which have obviously been resolved, but yeah, feels good, feels a lot more organised this year. We spent a lot more time working, with the council, with the police, so they're a lot more involved and understand a lot more about the event this year. Well, we've started next year's event now. We started a month ago, so we're planning next year's event now. We have monthly meetings now for the first 6 months, council, police, fire. Then we move into like the 6-month period where it's fortnightly meetings. I've done AMCA events, British Championship events. This is not what we normally do. This is like you say, it's a festival, it's an event. And it has to be managed more like an event than a bike race, basically. Lots of issues, to be honest with you. It's like we're closing down their footpaths for weeks. The noise, the influx of traffic. Our traffic management is probably 300 pages long. It's all very complex. So you have road closed down. Everything's got to be signed off by the police. So it's nothing's easy. Compared to a normal. I do a Grand Prix. It's easy. This is like scarily hard. I think it's become, for Weston, for the economy, it's become a big thing. I think it's been here for 28 years now. The town has sort of grown to accept that once a year, very much like Le Touquet. It comes in, it's good for the local economy. The downside is, you have a few wild bike guys who want to have an end of season party, but they all spend money. Generally, we're family people, so it's quite good. But we need Weston to turn into at least a 5-day festival. We want to put, what we're talking of next year is we'll have oval racing on the beach. It's probably floodlit for the Friday night, get some music going. Try and create it as it's like a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, big party, because it does attract a different audience to a motocross meeting, and we need new people coming to the sport. So the idea of Weston and most of our events is to bring the outside into the sport.
I'm now with British motocross legend Roger Harvey. Now, Roger won the Weston Beach Race in 1984, but Roger, different setup this time. Just tell us about what's going on.
Yeah, but just the guys from Polaris, I spoke to them last year and they said, if you want to ride around, give us a shout, and I thought, that sounds like good fun, and they want to do a demonstration this year, and it's on the Friday, it's before the events really got underway, so we just come down to have a thrash round, courtesy of the boys there. I used to work with a couple of them, Lee Frankish and Phil Everett, used to work with them both back in the day, a few years back, and they said, come on and have a go. So we just had a thrash around, and it's amazing how much different it is, and being strapped into something. Like, I've done it on solos, I've done it on quads, but in this you're strapped, and so your body doesn't have hardly any influence, which Lee Frankish warned me. He said you'll find it real strange, but once you get into it, it's good fun, and it is. It's unbelievable.
A staggering 1,000 tonnes of sand will be displaced during the building of the Western course, all of which must be replaced 24 hours later.
Right, I'm with Dan Gibbons. He's riding in our youth quad race. Dan, you done this race before?
Not on my quad, but I've done it the past 3 times on my bike.
And what do you love about Weston?
It's just great fun. I just love the dunes.
And your results tomorrow, how are you looking to do?
I just hope I finish the race, basically. Yeah.
Well, great stuff. We hope you enjoy yourself, Dan.
Okay, thank you.
So here we go then, straight into the youth quad. Well, the circuit for these riders a lot shorter. Just before that spectator bridge that we just saw, our early leader Christian Morris, number 43, just come over there. They turn across there. Only the adults will be using the full beach circuit down there. 62 Jack Griffiths coming through, powering his way through, and a gaggle of riders. And already over on the first part of the dunes for these riders, we're getting a couple of riders stuck there. 28 Carl Murphy, 57 Gavin Crowhole there, and you can see a few of the riders just having to take their turn there to come through. One rider managing to get through there, no problem now. Blasted away, got a nice clear beach ahead of him. And you can see these riders all waiting in turn. It's like a step-up section there as we get number 74. That's Ali Davis, and 45 Bailey Edwards. Well, we see a lot of them in the Nora youth quad races. Bailey Edwards, a very talented young rider, working his way up through the field. Number 1, Harry Miller, coming through there as well, chasing number 16, Daffy Davis. Well, some lines have cleared now, and that has allowed number 59, Taylor Boyd, getting through. And also 44, Jamie Clark, just getting around there as well. One rider's getting a little tap there, number 33. But 14 blasting through, absolutely no problem at all there. Ricky Roberts really barnstorming his way through the traffic there, no problem at all. And that's 41 there, Shannon McKenna, a young lady rider out there, just getting a bit of help over there, just grinding to out on the top of that small dune there, and a few riders really having to queue there. One rider trying to urge everybody to have a go, get over that real steep dune there. Now all the riders, all the youth classes out there in this one, our youngest rider, Reese Swan, will be out there on a 50cc quad machine. Well, we've seen a lot of Reese as well at Nora quad action. He really goes out there nearly every weekend, tackling there. 46, that's Matt Branch. Getting stuck there, and get some help there, just having to fire. Looks like he stored the machine, going to fire it back up, and away goes. Blasting back at the back at the main dune over there. Some of our riders. That's 72. That's Sam Bailey just grinding out there, and the rest of the field managed to pick a way around him. Well, Sam Bailey, another very accomplished young quad rider. And you can just see how soft that sand is there. You can just see it just grinds out. It can't get any traction. Obviously, underneath the engine, just bottoming out on the top of that dune there. Number 4, Josh Coombs, just getting a tap there. 62, Jack Griffiths comes through again, just dropping down the pace. He had a good start, come through in the first 4, dropping down the pace slightly now though. And that's Ayrton Radford, just getting it all wrong there. To re-up the machine, number 53, Ayrton Radford. Again, just getting Shannon McKenna just going through there. Another rider getting there's no obstacles at all there. But upside down, rewriting the machine as we get again Ricky Roberts blasting down there towards one that big dune. That traffic now clearing now. 24 just coming through. That's Ali Jenkins with a Daffodil Anna leak strapped to his back. And 53, and Radford stuck again, but not doing too bad. 19th position, and the marshal's doing a fantastic job there, helping these riders out. 69 just coming through. Luke Cooper just going through that water splash there, and you can see that steam coming off the machines. Not a problem with the machine. There is a lot of standing water out there on the circuit, and obviously when it hits these hot engines, just throwing up a lot of steam there. It's 54, Connor Taylor coming through. And that's 57, Gavin Crowhole coming through again, down in 27th position there. And 121, Danny Lloyd right opposite. And just you can see what I mean about that water splash there. Danny Lloyd just grinding to a halt. Both riders looking down at the machines, trying to get them restarted. As I say, quite a bit of standing water on the circuit this year. And you can see riders having to dismount and stand in that stuff and try and get the machines going. Well, Danny Lloyd currently down in 13th position, and Jordan Turnock, number 42, as we pick up with 57. Gavin Crowhole again We saw him stuck earlier in the race, but now back underway. No problems at all for him. 118, Guy Kennan coming through, making it look very, very easy as he went through. Coming round towards us, number 50, Mitch Cousins, being chased by 62, Jack Griffiths. I've seen Jack Griffiths powering his way around, no problem at all. He's certainly getting the laps in, and good lap times as well for these youth riders. I can tell you the fastest rider did a 1:04.01, and that was Jack Godfrey. So doing very respectable lap times there. But that's 71 and 72. 71 being Liam Glover in 8th position, and 72 Sam Bailey, who we saw stuck in that dune earlier, down in 12th position. 29 Jordan Harris coming through as well, and 43 there. And that's Christian Morris, who we just talking about earlier. And Christian Morris, he's obviously flooded the machine. You can just see the tipping it over, draining out the carburettor before trying to get that machine fired back up into life. Well, pushing it over to the side of the track, and he's in the top 5 position as well, Christian Morris, and he was the rider we saw take the early lead as well. So drama for him at the moment. He really needs to get the machine going. As Shannon McKenna down in 35th position coming through. Good ride for Shannon. And some riders really kicking up the roofs there. Number 51, that's Brandon Lesueur, being chased by Shannon McKenna, going through again. And another rider just the other side of there, and that's the number 9 machine, Billy Langford, tipped up there. It couldn't be a worse place to dismount from the machine. It must have gone absolutely over the bars and right into the water there. And it looks like he's hurt his arm there. He's going to be... One of the marshals there attending to him, walking him to the side of the circuit. One of the helpers there just removing the quad. It's right on the blind side of that jump there.
Okay, we're halfway through the quad race for the youth riders, and the board says it all. Number 55, Leon Rogers, and I'm with your dad, George. What's going through your mind at the moment?
I just hope everything keeps going all right. He's a great little rider. I just am so delighted for him. He's brilliant. Like, he got a hard run of it in the British. I think he was robbed, but I mean, you know, that's life. But I mean, he has been just living for this. He was psyched up for it. He was in bed last night at 8:30. He just focuses on what he wants to do, and the board says it, he does it, and I'm delighted for him.
And it is important as well, because he has had a tough year with the British, as you say, so this really is like the closing for his season.
Yeah, we've won the Irish Championship, we've won the NORA Championship, the NET Championship. I feel we won the British Championship, but you know, that's life, and this would be the tin hat in it. And we're off to California on Thursday to do a round of the ITP in Racetown Desert. So hopefully, you know, all will go well for him.
And this as well, I mean, obviously he's been robbed of the British, you're saying, but this is going to be great for his confidence if you're winning a prestigious event like this.
Absolutely, absolutely. He deserves it. He really deserves it. He's a class act to watch. He's so steady. He's so composed. He just knows what to do. He knows when to do it. And I feel, you know, he's a rider for the future if he ever gets a break. You know.
And my final thing is, I know you're looking at the board now. So that means you're a little bit too nervous to watch him actually race?
I can't watch him race. I was out there watching him, and you know, he even tells me I'm coming in the next lap because he wanted goggles. He didn't even want fuel, so that's confidence for you. You know, when you can turn around and tell someone I'll be in on the next lap and all I want is goggles, like, you know, and he knows he's first. It's just incredible. It's just incredible.
George, pleasure talking to you, and I'm going to leave you here to bite your nails and look at this board.
Okay, thanks very much. Thanks.
Well, back into the action there after speaking to George Leon Rogers' father there, and we pick up with 62, Jack Griffiths, down in 18th position now, and there is the man, 55, Leon Rogers, blasting through. The two riders just getting all tangled up there. Looks like the front wheel of the one has just been mounted onto the side of his machine. Got to bounce it off there. And these machines, even these youth quads, some serious weight with these 250 machines, the bigger kids are riding, and very specialised bits of kit as well. Although we say youth quad racing, nothing that you'd probably expect these youth riders. They're certainly not toys. Some of these can be costing up to £12,000, really serious bits of racing kit, and they are just literally hurling them around through loads of salt and sand, doing them the world of good. And we now pick up here number 23 just going through. That's Macaulay Maguire. 28 just ripping through there as well. That's Kyle Murphy flying the Irish flag there. Very good, strong scene in Ireland for the quad racing. Nearly every week they're coming over on the ferry. A lot of contestants in the British Quad Championships make the journey. 121, Danny Lloyd just coming through. And you can see now a lot of the riders, as the race wears on, these jumps actually get a bit trickier sometimes. They really start to grind down some deep ruts through them, and all the corners as well get really cut up. And that causes trouble as well. The machine can just literally grind to a halt in some of the corners. These riders make it no problem. That's over the far side. And somebody keeping their feet warm there. And you can just see those. That's a perfect example now. Those ruts through those jumps there. You can see that just grind. The machine just grind to a halt on top of that. Well, coming down towards us in Daff Owen. 219 just going through. Just getting through there, and you could see that very close to grinding out there as he went through. The rest of the riders coming through the track really starting to cut up now as they go through. 71 just going through there. We've seen battling away. That's Liam Glover over there by the far side now, by the mechanics area. And this is where the riders really can open the machines up, and then they'll come out onto the long start straight. There's 72 Sam Bailey going through again. Certainly putting in some good solid laps now, Sam Bailey. Down in 12th position. 121 as well, just coming back through. That's Danny Lloyd. Now let's go and join another one of our youth riders on his preparations before the Weston Beach Race.
Yeah, it's my first year at Weston. Yeah, I've been looking forward to it. It's my first year of racing. This year I've raced for about 4 months now, but it's better than I expected. And my mum said, "Oh, why don't you ride Weston Beach Race?" And I was like, looking forward to it.
I was going to say, Weston Beach Race is probably the biggest event you can get as well. I mean, considering you've only been racing 4 months, feeling a little bit nervous about it?
Yeah, well, we decided like almost as soon as I started racing that I was going to ride, and ever since then I've been a bit shaky about it. Yeah, I haven't slept that well last night.
And how's your first season of racing going?
It's pretty good. My first race I had a third, and second race I had a second, and the third race was a third again, and then another third, I think.
So you're really taking to the quad scene, so you could be the dark horse for maybe a podium tomorrow?
Oh, I doubt it, but I'd love it. I've been thinking about it. I started riding quads when I was 3 years old, but I never got around to racing until this year, and now I'm 15, so...
And what is it that you love about the sport? What makes you want to just go out there?
I've been brought up driving things, and I've just wanted to ride ever since like I started riding quads. And then my dad and my uncle ride quads, and they've been riding for a few years now, and I just wanted to do it.
So it's almost inevitable, really. It's almost in the family.
Yeah, it's in my blood. It's like all my family have always done motorsport, and we've got another little quad rider coming on here, my little cousin. And
well, I'll have a quick word. When do you think you're going to be taking part in Weston?
Next year.
Well, great stuff as we now rejoin our race action. It just shows you from that interview, it's really a fantastic family weekend, the Weston Beach Race. And we get some great shots now of these riders. That's Declan McKenna going down the long start straight. And some of these solo riders in the youth class were hitting nearly 80 miles an hour down here, even on that short and straight. So they really do get a chance to really air out the machine. Another shot of Endofo in there, going down there. Brilliant shots, almost iconic sight there. The machine blasting away down the side of the water's edge, with the brand new refurbished Weston Pier in the background as well. And these riders really, they can't even relax along the straight. As soon as they get there, they are fighting the machines. There's a few bumps there, so they can't relax anywhere around this circuit really. And then they get back into these grueling sand dunes as they come around here. 71 there, Liam Glover just working his way through. 31 there, that's Declan McKenna picking his way through, just having a look over his shoulder. As I say, quite a range of ages out there. Some of our 50cc riders, Reece Swan out there, a few of them out there on the 100cc, so from 6 years of age, a few of these riders. And the auto quad number 56 just getting towed back there. That's Kieran Taylor. Looks like that's going to be the end of Kieran's day. And good service provided to get these machines back up the beach there. All volunteers. That's Gavin Crowhole just coming through, just nearly grinding to a halt there in the ruts that are starting to form on the straight. So it gives you a good indication just how the circuit digs out there. 55 though. Leon Rogers going through. And a great shot there, number 40, just working his way through the dunes there and just exiting out that nice little rhythm section. Really well designed circuit this year. 64 just popping a wheelie. Connor Smith down in 37th place, but certainly doing a bit of showboating, enjoying himself out there. 42 just bouncing his way through. And that's the number 60 machine, second place rider at the moment, Jack Price Draper. Working his way through, looking very comfortable, trying to close that gap down on Leon Rogers. We're also looking for the number 5 machine of Jamie Morgan. He's there in third position, 122 Jack Godfrey as well, 141 Daniel Lewis as well in fourth position. Oh, and 2 riders having a bit of a coming together on that dune. That's 74 Alid Davis and number 50 Mitch Cousins down in 23rd position. One rider just frantically kicking his machine, and they're right by a water splash as well, so if they don't get going soon, some of our riders are going to be coming through, giving them a good soaking as we pick up with 55 Leon Rogers. Well, we just spoke to his dad George earlier, and that's I'm just talking about today, that water splash. 74 Alid Davis getting a real soaking there as Leon Rogers powers his way through. We are coming right down towards the closing stages. There's Jamie Morgan down in third position behind Jack Draper. Jamie Morgan from Usk, Jack Draper from Plymouth. Those riders who have come to a standstill, they really are getting absolutely soaked as Jamie Morgan just coming. And Jamie Morgan, our third place rider, well, he's just ground to a halt there. Well, we just seen him just soak those other riders there, and with 5 minutes on the clock, Jamie Morgan in all sorts of problems, obviously getting some water into his engine, and you can hear them trying to get that machine going there. The clock ticking, they fired it back into life, so Jamie Morgan very lucky there on that Yamaha Raptor, gets that machine fired up back into life. We are coming towards the closing stages. Leon Rogers, your race leader at the moment, Jack Draper in second place, Jamie Morgan number 11 just ground into a halt there. That's 37 just powering through there. Looking to look very easy to come through. This is right at the finish area now. 55 Leon Rogers, here he comes down towards the checkers flag.
Okay, the end of the youth quad race, and I'm with the winner, Leon Rogers. Leon, you've got to be absolutely pumped about that one.
Absolutely so happy. It's the best day of my life, and I'm absolutely soaked. Brilliant. The track was so rough and so wet, just hitting every puddle, and it's going all over you. It's just best thing ever done.
Right, absolutely brilliant. Now, George, I want to bring you in as well, because we just spoke to you halfway through the race, and you couldn't even watch it. What's going through your mind at the moment?
I am just so delighted for him. I really am so delighted for him. He rides his heart out. He's a great little pilot, so he is. I'm delighted for you, son. I love you to bits.
Guys, I know it's been a tough season for you, Leon, but it's absolutely brilliant to see you end this way for you. Well done.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Well, moments after the race, there was drama for Leon and his father George. In almost a repeat of him being stripped of his British title, he was asked to submit his machine for irregularities. When it was not presented, the celebrations ended, as Leon was disqualified and made to make the long journey home without the trophy he craved. So the official results are, it was Jack Draper who took the win, Jamie Morgan took second, and Jack Godfrey took third. Sponsored riders competing at Weston over the past 27 years have raised more than £2.3 million for charity. So after the drama of the youth quad race, it's straight into more youth action as we blast off now with the youth 65cc class. And here they come charging down the beach. Again, a shortened circuit for this, and it's number 4, Harry Kimber, getting an absolute flyer. Carrying an incredible amount of speed down there for these young 65cc riders. Harry Kimber I've seen some good, impressive results also at the Dirt 321 Festival as well. So a big future ahead of a young Harry Kimber. Also looking out for Harry Winchman, Carl Budge out there, Sam Jackson, Brad Lilburn, Danny Troughton, Jack Baldwin. 22 runners out there for the 65cc class. And there he is down into the first turn. Harry Kimber. Number 4, hard on the gas straight out of that turn. Down towards us in. 8:22, Jack Baldwin. Behind Jack Baldwin, looking there, looks like number 17, Sam Jackson going through. And a very difficult and demanding track. These obstacles tricky enough for the bigger adult machines, but these young riders really do tackle with a gut. So Harry Kimber leading the charge into those dunes there. Down towards they come. I think that's going to be, yep, 100 there on his machine. That's Jamie Clark going through. Jamie Clark splashing through the water there, and a few riders getting caught out. Very loose, deep sand there. Number 16 just getting caught out. Well, that's Zach Clark. A few other riders there, all needing Marshall's assistance, and the Marshall's doing an absolutely fantastic job. As there's our third place rider, number 41, Carl Budge there, just going through. And even the ruts in that corner there can be very, very tricky for these smaller wheels. Well, we've had the youth quad race this morning. And some of those quads really do dig out some big holes. They can just swallow these small machines up. Just getting a bit of assistance from one of our marshals. Getting back on his way. Back out there. This is up by the this is right down on the very far end of the beach there. Number 24 just going through there. That's Brad Lilburn in 5th position. And you can see that spectator bridge that these young riders go over. The rest of the track for the main adult classes goes about another half mile further down on the straight and then zigzags back. Nearly 3.5 miles worth of track. Number 4 just going through. Harry Kimber being chased by our second place man. Number 9, Harry Winchman. Just coming through there. That's going to be a number 100 again. Just going through. Jamie Clark. Oh, and one rider just losing it in very impressive style there. But you can see these riders so determined. The first thing is can't wait to get back up on the machine. The Marshall will be starting the machine back up for him. And look at Harry Kimber down the beach there. Weight over the rear end of the machine. Absolutely flat out for these 65cc riders. And that's that Jamie Clark there as well. In second place at the moment. Just coming through towards us, number 15, dropping down that sand dune into the water splash. That's Archie Hicks. Archie, we saw getting a bit of assistance earlier on the dunes. And I do apologise, that's number 100 just going down there, Jamie Clark. But they're all chasing this man here at the moment, number 4, Harry Kimber, and one rider completely without his bike there. Working his way along the back of the dune. And a bit of a dodgy place to be standing there. Just coming towards us. This is one of our young ladies out there, 124, Lucy Calvert, who we caught up with earlier. Lucy, is this the first time you've done Weston?
Nope, I did it last year.
And how did you get on last year?
I did 30. I had a 36th.
And what do you love about this event? Because it's got to be pretty hairy out there.
Yeah, it's really fun out there, and it's just an enjoyable race, really.
And how long have you been racing, and how did you get into motocross?
This is my 4th year, and my cousins do it, so I got it off them.
And obviously it's a big race, and you did 36 last year. How do you want to do this year?
I want to just enjoy it and try and beat my result from last year.
Well, great stuff, Lucy. Let's hope you have a brilliant weekend.
Thank you.
Well, I can tell you Lucy Calvert will be over the moon with her results this year. She's well inside the top 10, sitting in 9th position at the moment. A couple of riders getting attended to. We're joined by number 100, Jamie Clark again. Powering his way through, just really kicking up the roost there. As I say, these young 65cc riders, they really do attack the circuit. Absolutely fantastic to watch. And it's great that when we cover the youth racing, because these riders, you can watch them, their careers develop as they head towards the adult ranks. And I'm certainly wagering that number 4, this man here, Harry Kimber, will certainly be one to watch in the future. 100 though, just getting into some trouble there, just dropping on the downside of that jump there. Jamie Clark. Another rider just going down there. I'm trying to ignore the number on his bib there. I think it's number 2, Lloyd Williams, on the shirt. Number 6 just coming through towards us. That's Ben Secker. Ben from Attleborough. And then a number 24 machine, just getting a little bit sketchy there. Brad Lilburn from Walesby. Back underway though. The rider getting a bit of assistance on the dune there. And that bike just started to dig its rear end in there. That's the number 9 machine. That's our second place, man. Harry Winchman. We've got number 9 on the machine. Yeah, Harry Winchman in all sorts of trouble there. That's our second place rider. The guy who's been trying to hound down Harry Kimber. There's 124 Lucy Calvert, who we spoke to earlier, coming through again. Having absolutely no problems at all as she comes through. Another rider just going down there. And you can see there, straight back on her feet. As soon as the marshals get the machine started back up for them, away they go again. And that was the number 5 machine of Lestin Squires. Oh, and Lucy Calvert there, our top 10 runner at the moment, just going down. Oh, and number 17 just taking a bit of a tumble as well, Sam Jackson. And I say it is very difficult conditions out there. It's bad enough for that. Look at Harry Kimber absolutely flying over that bridge there. You won't see many of the adults doing more air over that jump this weekend. And Harry Kimber absolutely flying, working his way back down along the promenade. And Harry way out in front now after we saw Harry Winchman into all sorts of troubles on that dune. Coming towards us now, 56 there I think it's going to be. Fraser Buckingham. Bravely soldiering on. And it really does take a great amount of courage. These dunes must be absolutely daunting to him. 8:22 just coming through. Jack Baldwin. Jack powering his way through. No problem at all. Sweeping round over the far side through those big water splashes. And the majority of these riders all riding on 65cc KTMs. And it looks like they've all been really well waterproofed. None of them are suffering with the effects of these puddles that the quad riders have been suffering with earlier. Number 6 just coming through towards us through one of those water splashes, as I said. Number 6 being Ben Secker. One rider from Attleborough and one rider completely buried in there. It looks like the marshal's going to have to give him assistance. We're going to get a look at his number there. Looks like number 3 it is, stuck on the dune there. That's Declan Roden. Declan Roden waiting for the marshals to get his machine started again for him. Number 8 just go on, this number 8 just burying it there. That's Jaden Murphy. Well, Jaden Murphy sitting in 8th position at the moment. But Jaden back underway. That's number 15 just going through there. Archie Hicks on a small Cobra machine by the looks of it. Archie Hicks just he's stylishly dismounting his machine there. He's our race leader, number 4, Harry Kimber. It's this fantastic little rhythm section. Here they come down towards it. You'll see the bigger bikes absolutely hammering through there later. Harry Kimber making it look very easy again. And look at the amount of air he's getting over that spectator bridge. A very impressive ride there from Harry Kimber. And I can tell you, you won't see many of the adults getting as much airtime as he is over there. So a very impressive young rider. Making his way back along the side of the prom now. And we are coming towards the closing stages of this one as well now. We bring you highlights. Another rider just going down there. And it looks like he's absolutely exhausted there. He's going to let the marshal get the machine up for him. I'm going to get a look at the number and walking him off the side of the track, just get his into a safe area. There's number 4. Harry Kimber coming through. Number 8 rush behind him, Jaden Murphy. Oh, and Harry Kimber going down. So our race leader, he's been absolutely faultless so far. And Harry Kimber, your race leader, been in it right in front of us. Well, he's lapped majority of the field at the moment. He's lapped up into 4th position. And he's got a comfortable lead at the moment, so he should be okay there. The only guy that just went past him, number 8, Jaden Murphy, who was 2 laps down behind him there at that point. And another rider just going down there. I think that's going to be Archie Hicks again. And Archie Hicks was very lucky not to get caught by that other rider just coming down towards him. And number 3 just coming round, gingerly coming down a very steep dune there. That's Declan Roden from Hereford. And that sees the number 8 machine just coming through there of Jaden Murphy. Skipping along. Jaden Murphy, and it looks like the number 10 machine just getting a bit of first aid attendance there by the side of the track. The first aid marshals officials all doing an absolutely fantastic job this weekend. Oh, and another rider. No dunes or no bumps. He still manages to win it. It looks like he's got his leg caught under his machine there. Marshall straight over there, getting back up on his feet. And there we go. At the finish, it was Harry Kimber taking the win, Harry Winchman taking second, and Carl Budge taking third. More than 18,000 riders have tackled the infamous Weston track in its 27-year history. With 5 victories in the solo race, Rob Meek is the most successful rider at Weston.
Good morning, sir.
At the beginning of the year, you really did look like the Ron that everyone was going to beat, and then you broke that arm. I mean, you come back now. I mean, how's the fitness in that arm?
Really down on a lot of strength in the right arm. Same with the left a bit as well, because obviously I've not rode, or I'm sort of really unbike fit, if you like. But I've been out a couple of times, tried to go out a couple of times a bit too early, and just stopped and pulled in. It wasn't worth it. But the arm's good now. I've had some physio a couple of weeks prior to this and things, so arm feels good. I rode last weekend and it felt great. So, you know, it all depends on the day. If it's, you know, if I fatigue pretty quick and the arm's not feeling great, I'll just circulate, and if I have to settle for a top 5, I'll settle for a top 5. You know, everyone knows I've been injured, and it's something that, you know, I planned to come back for Weston. Probably not the best race to come back for, but I needed to get on the bike in front of the crowds and you know, just get sort of get back out there and get a name again.
Well, he's a scary looking machine. Is that one of the other competitors there?
Yeah.
What's your name then, lad?
Chris Kidd.
And what do you class you're racing him?
2-man teams. I'm racing with my dad tomorrow.
And have you ridden the Quad Western Beach Race before?
Yeah, this is my 3rd year riding.
And what do you love about the Western Beach Race?
It's just a great weekend. I've been coming here since I was a kid, about 10 years. I think this is my 10th year. It's just one of the best weekends of the year. I love it. It's so much fun.
We are now moments away from the start of the adult quad race. Up to 500 machines are going to be blasting off very shortly. And I managed to find down in the park fair, Oliver Sansom. Oliver, what are you feeling like just at the moment?
Obviously there's pre-race nerves. I feel good, a lot better than I've done years before. Every year seems to get better. I feel a lot fitter now. Had a bit of a bad season halfway through and really had a compression fracture on my spine at one of the Britishes. Overcome that now and has been training harder because of it. Just feel fitter than I have been. I got a joint first overall last weekend and fastest lap time of the day. So I feel on it. Mechanic Dave Porter has put so much effort into the bike this week. We've had that many late nights. Got here late yesterday, just managed to squeeze into scrutineering.
Well, here we go then, the tension building now for the start of the adult quad race. Sidecars also combined in that one, even a couple of the old quad machines, the trike machines. Poor Winrow, not too nervous there, giving a wave to the cameras. The gates open now, the riders will run through to get their machines fired into life, get a good put position in the order. The machines actually stored up on the promenade and then they're led down by this, I suppose, pace quad you could say. Jason Macbeth, the number 1 machine, indicating he was the winner the year previous. And here we go, blasting off. And you'll see a good indication how the change of start now. They actually blast up towards the pier before hitting a small dune, before going down the massive start straight. Before they used to just literally stream out there, and away they go. And look at an impressive sight. And one guy, number 61, getting the puncture right at the very start. So that's going to be a very disastrous start. He's going to be spending the rest of the race working really hard. Hasn't even got 20 feet out of the gate, and you can see that dune there just catching a few riders there. 219 really flipping up there, but here they come down towards us now. Also, the organisers this year putting in a bit of a motocross section to stop some of the congestion on the dunes there. Well, number 13 getting an absolute flyer there. That's Ben Morgan. Also Steve Atkins up there. Winrow in about 10th position going through. Good start there from Stephen Murphy. Peter McKenzie there as well. Justin Reed as the rest of the field come through, and you can just so impressive. You can see the rest of the field just going down towards that first turn as all these machines just come streaming through. And the first of the big dunes, not that big here, right, as you'll pan through now, and you'll get an indication as they come through. In the past, that used to be typically a very large dune, and you'd see a bottleneck there needed for a couple of laps for some of the slower riders. And here we go. And interestingly, it was that small dune over there that caused a bit of trouble for some of the machines there. It's usually the sidecars, when they hit the very soft stuff, they ground out a lot easier. And that guy there, just in a very dodgy position. And I was just to say, there's a perfect indication why you don't want to be stopped the other side of a dune. And 210, not even over the first dune there in the two-man 4x4. And you can see the riders getting into all sorts of trouble. And when it gets so tough there, you can see them just digging away. They're just... the machine just literally grind to a halt on there. And the first of the sidecars getting over there as well. There's a few of them down. One of the machine just going right over there and almost getting T-boned there. A bit too far away from us to... tell you who they are. A couple of sidecars giving each other a shunt there with the rabbit ears. And you will notice a lot, especially with the adults, a lot of the guys wear fancy dress, and all parts of the fun here at Weston. A lot of riders riding for charity as well. It really is a fantastic weekend, a great atmosphere. There's a couple of the sidecars really getting stuck there. And that's the number 7 machine coming through. First of our 4x4 machines. That's Stuart Jones riding the Cannon Renegade from Oswald Street. But the man at the moment, number 9, Paul Winrow, 4-time British Western race winner, looking over his shoulders and popping a wheelie for the crowd there as he comes through, getting a cheer there. Number 13 coming through. That's Ben Morgan. Ben Morgan got the whole shot as it came through. Also right behind him, right, Justin Reed there. Steve Atkins as well. Number 51 just going through there, Peter McKenzie. But... Paul Winrow just looking over and doing a bit of a hand signal there between his legs as he looks over at the commentary box. Bit of a character, Paul, certainly known for his hand gestures. 14 just flying through there. Justin Reed into second place, getting past the number 13 machine of Ben Morgan now, dropping down into third. Murphy going through there as well in 6th position. Winrow through there. There's so much standing water on the circuit here. This really does mean that this really does sort out the machines that have been certainly prepped well before the event, getting plenty of waterproofing in there. There's number 9, Winrow, splashing through. That's 1 lap done for him now. Well, as they come through at the end of the first lap, we're going to have a quick word with last year's winner, Jason Macbeth.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I got injured at the end of August. I was out at a local meeting, but doing a bit of practicing, and had an off. And I haven't ridden since, so it's I've been taking a while to get over it. It's worse than what I thought it was in the beginning, but hopefully it's be fine when I'm out there and get a good start and away we go.
Well, Jason Macbeth out there looking for another win, but the man at the moment that they're all chasing after that number 9 machine. You can see him looking very cool and calculated at the moment, looking over his shoulder. Paul Winrow getting a check to see who the second place man is, and you'll see that man there, the number 41 machine of Jason Wildman. 14 just going through. Justin Reed in 3rd position. Stephen Murphy going through in 4th. Here comes Macbeth in 5th position. To shoot at 43, I think that was getting very wild as he hit that jump there. And you can see the 4x4 machines. The advantage of having a reverse gear on there, no problem at all. Just popped it into reverse, pushed his way back. And you can see one of the trikes just going through before the quads. The Yamaha and Honda used to make these 3-wheel trike machines, which were then outlawed in America for being a bit dangerous, so they attempted to tip up, so they added an extra wheel and invented quad racing. Sidecars going through. Got a good cruise out there. The Millard brothers, we've got Andrew and Edvian, the Cornish riders out there. Jordan Power out there as well. 2 Chapman brothers and Powell and Conroe. You can see the sidecar crews really have to work incredibly hard. Literally just get off in the nick of the time and just literally bail out and keep pushing that machine up there. That's 130 just going through there. I haven't got my paperwork at the moment, so we're going to finish on it. 138 just going through there. That's Powell and Cunrow. And number 9 working his way through the traffic. Paul Winrow. No problems at all for him at the moment. Absolutely blistering pace he's setting at the early stage of this one. You can see him making very easy work of that very large sand dune. It's probably the largest dune on the circuit. And working his way through the traffic. Picking his lines absolutely perfect here. And of course Paul Winrow, dominant rider. 11 British titles to his name in British quad racing, and Paul will be actually taking part in a solo race on Sunday. So he's really looking forward to that. And one guy just stopped in that puddle there, and as a perfect example of why you don't want to be there, that machine just going through, completely drenching him. And we now pick up again with Paul Winrow, number 9, heading towards the spectator bridge. Winrow looking down at his machine a bit there. He's starting to get some problems with it. He's been going through those water splashes quite aggressively, working through the traffic. But I have noticed he's looked down at his machine a couple of times. And one of our riders just going through with the proverbial blow-up inflatable doll strapped to his back. Another part of all the fun of riding at the Weston Beach Race. And look at these fantastic shots down this beach. If you ever go and attend the Weston Beach Race, you've got to go and stand by the straight, even if you don't catch the start there. It's an unbelievable sight, the sound and the noise of these guys going down there. Some of the adult machines topping close to 100 miles an hour, and you think it's easy with that water there, that even these quads can be crabbing down there, and the front end of the solo machine's just twitching all the while. And you'll see the sidecar riders, the passengers actually getting down right behind the radiator and the chair as they come through. I think that's the leaders of our sidecar crew going through, Andrew and Edwin from our Cornish crew from Red Roof, leading comfortably in the sidecar class at the moment. One rider, and there you can see the sidecars really do dig themselves a very big hole there. They grind to a hole and they keep spinning that wheel, and you can see that crew really have got a Herculean effort to get out of that position there. Well, there's number 5 coming round, just blasting his way round. That's David Baldwin on the Anderson ATV 450 from West Auckland, and that sidecar crew's still stuck there at the moment, and they're going to get all the way back down to the bottom. 139 just grinding to a halt there as well on there. So they're going to have a bit of a job. That's on one of the large dune before they head down towards the promenade. And we get now. Let's have a look at some of these. One of these 4x4 machines coming down here, just going there. And that's Neil Martin. But we're going to have a word with Stuart Jones.
No, we're trying a hand at the 4x4 class this year after we had a 9th position finish last year, so we're trying a hand at the 4-wheel drive for this year, so something new.
And is it going to be easier with the 4-wheel drive quad, or do you have to? Do you have to change your riding style much?
Yeah, you do. You do have to change your riding style, where you can lean off a 450 more and throw it about. Where they are a lot bigger, heavier machine, and you just got to have a bit more respect for them. But as far as speed goes, they're equally as quick. And if we've got some difficult dunes, they will climb up the dunes quite well and get through them and get through the wet a bit more easier than the 2-wheel drive race quads.
Well, a great little chat there from Stuart Jones, telling us all about his choice of 4x4 machine this year. Well, 136. That's Chapman Brothers there, just grinding to a halt, getting absolutely filled in with sand there, being kicked up. The marshals really do a fantastic job. This race would not be able to. And that passenger looking very relaxed. 117 as he goes down the straight. That's with the Wade and Wade Brothers, and even the local constabulary there, enjoying the day out, taking in all the action. And that's our race lead. And is it going to be 104? No, it didn't. So that is going to be, yes, it is. Andrew and Edwin, our sidecar leaders. Number 9, Winrow, working away through the traffic though. He's really got that corner dialed down. He really just drops into these ruts. Absolutely perfect. And we saw him looking down at his machine earlier. There's no seems to be any problems at the moment. Yellow flags out there at the moment. So working his way around. I think we've got an injured rider down there being attended to. 41 just coming through. Jason Wildman also powering his way through some of that traffic there. You can see a lot of these riders out there, clubman riders just out there to enjoy themselves. But when you see the top boys come through, they make it look so easy. And I can tell you all the way around this circuit, they're just fighting those machines. And they're all going around. We've got an injured rider behind that quad there, where it's rolled after coming down with that dune. And the first aid, well, I say first aid doing an absolutely fantastic job here this weekend. And we're working their way over to the circuit. Oh, I'm not too sure who it is, but certainly getting some attention over there. Hopefully nothing too serious. Well, number 9, Paul Winrow. Let's go and have a quick chat with Paul.
Obviously last year, I didn't actually finish because obviously I got ran into on the first lap and hurt my back, and then I snapped a chain. Obviously got it repaired, but just had a few scary moments and my back was playing up, so I just pulled out. Obviously, fortunately enough, I've ended up with a low number this year to put us in the seeded rankings. So I'd just like to say there's a number, yes, I prefer number 1 or 13, but I just thought, okay, just go this year and just have a bit of fun and enjoy it, and this is what it is to us. Yeah, obviously, to say the solos is a bit of fun. Obviously, my background was originally solos. That's where I started on the 2-wheelers, and it's strange because I used to hate sand and ruts, and you think, okay, I'm going to do Weston. I did it a few years ago. Really, really enjoyed it. Obviously, finished 132nd, I think it was. So I'm aiming to try and get in the top 100 this year and give it a good go, rather than spend 5 or 10 minutes in the pits chit-chatting to the wife and having a drink and getting fresh gloves and goggles. This time I'm going to, hopefully everything goes to plan, and go for it.
Well, great there from Paul Winrow, and we certainly like Paul here at Blood, Sweat and Gears. Great entertaining rider, and this is down over the far side of the circuit, and you can see even this straight away absolutely rotted out. The machine's just fighting away all the way through there. Unbelievable stuff. 3 hours these riders are out there as well, and we're showing you the highlights. So you imagine you're literally pushing and pulling and doing everything you can to get your machine round, and they are not light machines, these sidecars and quads. So they're constantly battling the machine out there for 3 hours solid. And Winrow just having a good look over there, is really checking that dune, make sure he gets a clear run. Things way ahead, you could see here he comes up towards that dune, but as he even came through that switchback, you could see him just checking on it, making sure he'd already set his line, dropping into the rut. Oh, and Winrow, he's come to a halt. Poor Winrow ground to a halt there, and it looks like he's ground out there. I hope there's not machine problems there, but he's certainly ground out, and he's stuck solid there. And you can see even poor Winrow, the top riders, are going to have to get out there. And it looks like he's stuck solid there. And this could be drama now, because we're going to look at our leaderboard at the moment. Jason Wildman, Stephen Murphy and Steve Atkins are all pretty much within close striking range at the moment. Well, you can see Winrow has pulled out his cut-off switch as well. He's going to have to put his cut-off, he's moved around the other side, and that's for safety reasons. Obviously the 4 wheels, these machines can carry on going if they part company with the rider. And Winrow just bouncing his way out, but he's back underway, and it looks like the machine cutting out again there. So hopefully Winrow's machine not sucking in too much water there. Well, Winrow really that instant looking like he just ground out, but looks like he's starting to have problems with that machine. And you back along that straightway, some of these guys are in absolutely all sorts of problems just trying to get along that straight. Is effort enough there. Even some of the spectators get an absolute plaster in there if you get a little bit too close to the water splashes. And normally it's the damsel who has the assistance, but in this case this man has been assisted by a young damsel. I certainly wish my girlfriend was that dirty. And 41, Jason Wildman powering up towards the dune. Well, Wildman very close to Winrow when Winrow ground to a halt. Now we're not too sure if Wildman has now made the move into the lead at the moment. I'm waiting for a check on that. Wildman just going round some outside traffic there, trying to get on check. Also behind him, Stephen Murphy, the number 3 machine, and Steve Atkins, number 2, and Paul Hannum. And there is our 3rd place rider, Stephen Murphy. As if Winrow is still our race leader at the moment, and Murphy just doing a bit of evasive action there. One of our sidecar guys just parked right up on top of the hill as number 3, Murphy. And as I say, Stephen Murphy coming back from a nasty injury. But let's go and have a word with a couple of our young lady riders out there.
I'd quite like a top 100, but at the end of the day I just go out to enjoy myself and just keep myself in one piece, really.
And you, Tamara?
just in the top half, hopefully. Then I'll be happy.
Now, obviously, we say you're veterans, but I mean, you're a lot younger than me. But what is it that you love about Weston? What makes you want to keep coming back?
It's just so different, you know. You're riding Enduros and motocross all year, and I think you come to the beach race and it's like nothing you've ever done before. I think it's just amazing, really.
And the same with you tomorrow?
It's just so different, 'cause like compared to MX, and you've just got to go flat out. Whereas this, you can take your time a bit more, and it's just more enjoyable because you've got different obstacles and different ways and different people to meet, and it's just awesome.
No, you say. I mean, MX is slightly different. I mean, obviously the pace, but I mean, what about fitness as well? Because I mean, you're out there quite a long time, and these aren't small machines. So,
to be honest, you can't. Once your adrenaline gets going, you're not as bad because you don't seem to think about it. You're just having that much fun. Things are going through your mind. You just don't really think about it.
how about you, Amy?
I think it's just the stamina, to be honest. I mean, I ride a lot of enduro, so I'm kind of used to pacing myself for the 3 hours. But I mean, you've got to have a lot of stamina. If you go out too fast at the beginning, you're either going to make mistakes or wear yourself out, and then it makes like the last hour and a half really hard. So I think you just really got to pace yourself. It's more about riding with your head as opposed to your thumb all the time.
So you're from the enduro background. Tomorrow you're doing more on motocross. So is there going to be a bit of a rivalry here between the two of you anyway? But you're almost two disciplines as well, slightly.
Enduro is just better.
No.
Yeah,
no.
definitely.
So, but who's going to be the best one out today?
I think we'll just have to see, won't we?
Yeah, definitely.
Just have
Let
to see
the riding do
who
the
lasts.
talking.
Yeah,
definitely.
Well, Amy Price, Draper there, and Tamara Radford. And just as we came back there, you could see Winrow having more problems with his machine, ground to a halt there, and not hitting these dunes. And again, Winrow's machine cutting out, and this could be disastrous for poor Winrow. We are coming towards the closing stages of this one, and Winrow under all sorts of problems just about getting the machine going again. And Winrow's having problems with the water and the electrics on that one. There he goes again, and again he's pulled over, and Winrow just dismounting the machine, having a look down. Well, we've got a feeling that Wildman has already gone through now, whether Stephen Murphy and Atkins are within striking distance as well, but this is really going to be disastrous for poor Winrow. 4 times winner of the quad race. We're looking for another win here. Desperately wanted another win. He's had a fantastic year, clinching another British title. But off he goes again, poor Winrow. And that machine, you can see him almost cruising there at the moment. So some serious problems there with poor Winrow through that rhythm section when he was absolutely attacking and flying through that earlier. And Winrow really does seem to be struggling there. While some of our fans there on top of one of the racers in the paddock area getting a great shot view. And another rider just 47 there, just parking in the back of that machine there. And that is along that straight right down the bottom end of the circuit, and you can see that just so difficult there. Not very wide as well, and just digging massive trenches there. Well, number 9, Winrow back underway. Well, he certainly found some speed there at the moment, so really just cured that problem a bit into the mechanics area. And number 9, Winrow really on the charge now. He's dropped down the leaderboard and got him down in about 8th position at the moment. Looking over his shoulder to poor Winrow, working his way through, and he's still going. That puddle's kind of moved out of the way a bit now, but this is the man that we got by our reckoning in the lead at the moment. 41, Jason Wildman coming through, and not far behind Winrow at the moment. So Jason Wildman coming through, powering his way over the far side. And I can tell you that Jason Wildman, fastest time out there, a 3:07, 23.04. Incredible times out there. It's a massive circuit. You can't get a sense of the scale when you see it on TV. Here's Stephen Murphy going through. Well, Stephen Murphy, by our reckoning, now up into 2nd place behind Wildman after Winrow's misfortune. We saw his machine cutting out. Atkins also been up on the moving up on the leaderboard. Then Paul Hannum, David Baldwin, Sheldon Seal, Stuart Jones, and Dwayne Barnes all moving up now. Murphy working his way through the traffic. And you can see Murphy riding without his goggles as well over there, over the far side. And one of our sidecar guys just powering his way through. That's 134 just coming up towards us. Quickly looking at my paperwork for our sidecar crews. Got reams of paperwork, a full house for the sidecar and quad race on the Saturday. Up to 500 runners out there, and just over 500 riders in the solo race as well, booked down as well, which we'll be bringing you all the action from. Well, there's number 9, Paul Winrow, still circulating over the far side, still powering his way around as well. And Police Constabulary, local Somerset Police Constabulary, still taking in all the action. One guy out next to him giving him a bit of a shifty look. And what an absolutely fantastic sight there. One of our sidecar guys, as our cameraman follows him all the way down that straight. Absolutely brilliant shot, that. One of the true iconic moments of off-road sport when you see these machines go down that straight. And look at some of this water standing here now just before this obstacle. You can see where the majority of the machines have gone through. And all of this circuit is going to be rebuilt. And they really do push up the sand a lot looser for tomorrow, and a lot steeper as well for the solo guys. The small wheel, big wheel 85cc class will be taking on a smaller course, and then of course the over 500 solos will be attacking the main 3-hour race in the afternoon. 36 just there, and all sorts of kinds of problems. We just saw Stephen Murphy go through number 50, having a bit of a heavy crunch down on the other side of there. Quite a deep water pool coming through. As they come through, another one, 227, taking a bit of a heavy landing there. Ooh. And that looked like Wildman, your race leader, and that's another one of our front runners. That's number 2, just having a bit of a problem there. Steve Atkins tipping the machine up just down the road, Minehead. One of the photographers giving him a hand there, so Steve Atkins will be able to get back underway. He's kept the motor running anyway. Managed to keep hold of the bars as well, didn't pull out the back of that very treacherous little water splash. As some of the riders come through, you can see the ones who've gone through there before, and here they come. And that Jason Wildman, your race leader, very lucky there, almost over the bars. That was a very heavy landing as he came through. You could see almost at the point of no return there for Jason Wildman. Number 9, Winrow, now we rejoin, and again Winrow's machine cutting out there, so Winrow is going to be in all sorts of problems going even further down the leaderboard. You can see he's just going towards that dune there, and the machine, and another young damsel is going to help one of our stricken riders out there in a very white coat there. So that's, if he stays there much longer, it is not going to be he's already got a fair amount of the sand in her hair. And of course all her mates giving her full support and taking lots of photographs of her as she gets absolutely plastered. And then shouts up some encouragement as we now join race leader Wildman coming through. Again a face full of roost there as he went through there. Sand being kicked up towards him, down towards the finish. Here we come, he punches the air. Jason Wildman will take the win.
I am absolutely just chuffing outside, just like all went to plan. It was absolutely superb. The bike ran superb as well, and what a race! Absolute, really good.
Oh, hard, man. Obviously, we were talking yesterday about fatiguing with the wrist and things because I haven't ridden for such a long time. I'm probably fatigued after about 2 laps, so I've just struggled the way through. Just kept out of trouble, hung back on the first couple of laps to let everybody else sort of work their way through, and yeah, fantastic really. Jace got away ahead of me. I got stuck once and a few little problems here and there, but nothing probably more than what he had, so great race really.
Didn't go too bad. The bike had the whole shot obviously, and then the bike, every time I hit a puddle of water, it was missing like really bad. It wasn't until like the last hour when the water sort of moved away from the middle of the track and coming back the dunes, I could push on a bit. The bike been struggling with the bike, really missing. But
very grueling. It was getting a lot harder towards the end, but with a little bit of problems with overheating due to a lot of the wet sand and that. But no, it's been very good, very enjoyable machine to ride.
Yeah, it's not actually too bad. It's just so much traffic all the time, and like the dunes just to feed in, and just everything's digging in all the time. It's like, you know, that's hard work with 2 of you on there. Like, you know, it's very man-and machine.
I've got the hard job, so it's going to be harder for me. No, I find it quite tough, but
it's going to be tough, and it's a 3-hour endurance race.
Trouble-free day is ideal. We actually just run out of petrol on that second last corner, but we've got a reserve petrol tap, just turn on that and come through. But apart from that, fantastic. Right from the start, right through, ideal. So, but yeah, bit of celebration tonight now.
So let's have a look at our results for the end of day one, starting with the youth quads. In the Y1 class, it was George Betton taking the win. Second went to Declan McKenna, and third went to Kieran Taylor. In the Y2 class, it was Jamie Bowen from Daffyd Davis in second, Kieran Clark in third. In the Y3 class, it was Jack Price-Draper from Jamie Morgan in second, and in third place that went to Jack Godfrey. In the youth 65cc class, it was a win for that number 4 machine of Harry Kimber. Second went to number 9 Harry Winchman, and third went to 41 Carl Budge. In the main adult quad race, it was 41 Jason Wildman taking the win from Stephen Murphy in second. Third went to Steve Atkins. In the quad 2-man class, it was a win for Henson and Bray. Second went to Dunn and Davis, and third went to Downs and Langford. In the 4x4 class, it was a win for Stuart Jones. Second went to John Morgan, and third went to Michael Harbour. In the sidecar class, it was Andrew and Edwin taking the win from our second place crew of Millard and Millard, and in third place it was Williams and McPhee. Current Enduro World Champion David Knight is the only man to win both the solo and quad races in the same day. The Manxman achieved this unique double in 2002.
Yeah, hopefully it's going to be a good weekend.
Now, are you new to the Western Beach Race?
I think this is going to be my 5th time in a row, so...
So you're a bit of a seasoned veteran already?
Yeah.
Now, what is it you love about Western?
It's just a fun weekend. You can go out in the town and it's a great weekend.
So we're going to see you in the clubs later. Now, obviously you've been riding a couple of years now. What's been your best result so far, Charlie?
The championship this year, probably the BYMX was 10th, and the British Master got 2nd.
And now obviously them turn our attentions to Western. I mean, what's been your best results that you've had, and how are you looking forward to doing this year?
Hopefully moving up to big wheel, so hoping for a top 10 finish again.
Well, nice to catch up there with Charlie Hamlet. We're seeing how he does today as we get ready for the first race on Sunday, the small wheel, big wheel 85cc class combined. Well, the gates opened and they all rushed, make the mad dash, get the machines fired up, get a good position for the run down towards the beach, led by our pace quad. I can tell you it's a bit of a mad dash down there as soon as that pace quad certainly has a tough job keeping them at bay. And look at them all, you'd actually think they were racing now, and this is actually just going down to the start line. The race hasn't even started yet, and we've got several riders going down and running over each other, all frantic to get a good position on the start gate. We're ready for the gate to open, number 3. That's riders just getting all sorts of difficulty there. About 4 or 5 riders going down on that corner. The way they go, the gates are opened. So we start the big charge. Again, down a shortened version of the course. They'll turn just before the main spectator bridge. Only the adults will be using the full start straight. But impressive sight as here they come down towards us, screaming these little machines down towards us. Mainly 85cc machines, a couple of 150 Hondas out there, and it's 82. Ben Howell getting a start there, and look at Alfie Botel, absolutely incredible there on one of the small wheel machines. He's in second place there behind Ben Howell. So unbelievable start there from that young small wheel rider. As the rest of the field come through, we get a shot of number 67 Callum Clark going through. Good field out there for our small wheel, big wheel 85cc, and these riders, they do absolutely attack it flat out. And look at you, Ben Howell now, and already under pressure from 114. That's Robert Davison from Sheffield. But Ben Howell, your race leader, clear track in front of him at the moment, and he's absolutely flying. And you can see Ben Howell, very large stature, see we're making the move up to the MXY2 class, we're making probably I dare say a switch to a 250F machine. And look round the outside, 114, Robert Davison taking the lead away. So absolutely fantastic stuff on the opening lap. Ben Howell and Davison battling neck and neck there. 25, Joe Wright from Gravenhurst just coming to a halt there, and his whole roll-off system trailing behind him. And if you're not too sure what a roll-off system, it's almost like a cam film of clear film that goes across the front of the goggles. And obviously when the sand gets filled in, they just pull it out. Now that's one of our small wheel guys going through. I'm not too sure if that's Charlie Hamlet there on the Suzuki just going through. That's 38 or 39. If it's 39, it's Lysander Bigwood. 38 will be Charlie Hamlet. But everybody at the moment is chasing this young rider here, 82, Ben Howell. The end of his on the start of his second lap as he comes through. 114 right behind him, Robert Davison. This is going to be absolutely fantastic race all the way to the wire in this one. A rider that hasn't got a good start at the moment, though, we'll certainly be looking for will be 87, Ben Watson. Number 7 just coming through here. There's Kieran Snowlin just going through. Great shot there as he goes through. And look how hard they're just absolutely flat out, just kicking the roost up there. Just you can see the rear end of the machine bucking wildly there. 16 just coming down towards us. Let's get a couple of riders. Let's go and have a word with Charlie Hamlet's dad. Now, Andy, Western Beach Race, I know it's got to be nerve-wracking when your kids are out there racing motocross, but Western's a little bit more different. I mean, what's it like when your lads out there?
You just sit in the pits and just hope they come round, really. You do all your prep, you get everything ready, and it's a toss-up. You don't know whether the bike's going to start. It's been out there for 2 nights. Water, spray, sand, hundreds of kids running each other over. It's a complete lottery. You know, you hope for the best. You hope they come round.
Well, you can't say better than that. Just send them out there and hope for the best. As we now pick up with 21 Liam Bridge, just doing his best not to get run over. And number 41 there, one of our small wheel riders, that's Joe Bullock, just parting company with his bike, and Mr. Marshall getting it back. And as I say, the steep, soft sand out there, they're not really taking much of a way of knock. You can see the riders just can't wait to get back out there. Absolutely loving it here. And of course the Western Beach Race. There are a lot of other beach races popping up around the country now, but Western is probably the biggest and probably the leader, and it's just a fantastic event the whole weekend as we now pick up with 58 Nathan Dixon battling alongside 47 Keith Cullen and 52 Mitchell Warhurst there, overcooking it a bit, nearly going through the fence. So 52 from Swaddling Coat. Not too sure if that's a Swaddling Coat up by me, up in Staffordshire. 82 though, Ben Howell just powering his way through. Look at Ben Howell just working his way through the traffic. Absolutely incredible. And you can see right into those corners, not bothered at all. He's hard on the gas. He knows he's got to keep that momentum coming through there. Picking his lines beautifully through there, and just really is kicking up the roost there. And through that section there as well, really gnarly looking section. And he's just keeping that power on all the way through. Great stuff. Still being chased by Robert Davison. And now we're getting a look. Some of these young guys down on this straight. Absolutely fantastic. And I can tell you they had the radar gun on them, and they were clocking close to 80 miles an hour. The small wheel, big wheel guys. And girls. We've got a couple of girls out there as well. So 80 miles an hour down at a short and start straight. So you can imagine the big guys are going to be doing over 100 miles an hour when we get to the main solo race in a bit. No, then we're now picking up with 82 Ben Howell. Ben Howell almost speedway style into that corner there, hard on the brakes and just cranking that gas on straight away, broad sliding his way around. So Ben Howell working his way through, back marker in front of him. Also the yellow flags down there. Oh, and Ben Howell, he stalled the machine, and that has allowed 114 Davidson through. So Ben Howell, he's got the machine going again, but Davidson now taking the lead, and also getting a brief glimpse of 87 Ben Watson coming into the frame now as well. So Ben Howell, he's got the machine going again, and look at how he's attacking that little rhythm section there. Absolutely flat out as he goes through there, wringing the life out of that big wheel 85cc machine. Getting another great shot of our riders going down the straight, and you can see even on the straight they can't relax. You can see the machines twitching. A lot of the riders get their weight right over the back end. You can see the track really starting to deteriorate now as well. One rider just about making it to the top, and the marshals there just in there to give him a helping hand. Back underway they go. And you can see even coming out of that corner now, so many lines and ruts forming. The riders are just fighting the machines all the way out there. They really do an incredible Herculean effort for some of these young riders. fantastic effort just to get around. And that's one of our, that's either 38 or 39 going down again. Whether that's Charlie Hamlet or Lysander Bigwood, I can't really get a make on that machine there. Definitely 38 or 39. That's as close as I can get it on that one. He's just standing in front of the machine. Well, Charlie Hamlet, we spoke to earlier. I've got to say, looking at his stature, I've got a feeling that was Lysander Bigwood. That's 44 just coming through. Good ride from young Corrie Southwood. Coming in a very good performance up into 4th position for Corrie. Well, are we now going to get a shot of 114? Our race leader, Robert Davison. One rider just coming through, and I thought that was Davison going down then. And I've got a feeling it is. It's our race leader, Robert Davison. You can see he face planted that machine after just launching off that jump there and just ripping the 2 1s off the front of his machine. Now is going to allow 82 Ben Howell back into the lead. So there's Ben Howell, your race leader, after Davison going through. But right behind him you can see 87 just closing on the left hand side of the screen. That's Ben Watson coming up through. So Ben Watson with another rider just going down just in front of Davison. Davison taking evasive action there as he went through. And 43 just coming down towards us, that's Shannon Dalton. But there's your new race leader sweeping around the outside of all of them. It is Ben Watson now, your new race leader. So Howell now down into 2nd place, and you can see Howell looking very ragged as he comes through. So we now pick up with 87, Ben Watson. Well, you could see as they went towards that spectator bridge, he closed dramatically on Ben Howell. And Watson absolutely launching off that dune there. And lucky that there's nobody on the other side there, because you've seen some of the riders can be falling on the other side, but Watson absolutely launching off, absolutely attacking this like a full-on motocross race, and already pulling away from Ben Howell as they come down towards the checkers. So Ben Watson will take the win, Howell will take 2nd, and Jay Thomas will take 3rd. Starting with the big wheels first, it was a win for Ben Watson, Ben Howell taking 2nd and Jay Thomas taking 3rd. In the small wheel class, it was Josh Coleman taking a win, Oliver Benton taking 2nd and Alfie Botwell taking 3rd. The Weston Beach Race injects approximately £3 million into the local economy, and finding a hotel room in Weston-super-Mare during the race weekend is virtually impossible. This man is probably the bravest man here today, number 20 Ty Kellis, who just 12 months ago was seriously injured at the start of last year's race, which left him in a coma for 3 weeks.
I know, I'm looking forward to it. I reckon it could be real good, it looks good, the dunes are all up, and yeah, the weekend's about to kick off, so it should be good. It's just we do it every year. Like my brother does it, I do it. My dad's raced it, mum's even raced it, and it's a family thing that we just love. And they had no pressure into forcing me into doing it. They said don't do it, but I kind of persuaded them to let me do it. I'm running for the WRVS, and they helped my parents whilst I was in intensive care, and that was, obviously I wasn't awake for it, but my parents said they wouldn't have been able to have coped without it. They would have had to have booked the hotel, and that would have all cost money, so they helped really quite a lot. And I'd just like to give something back to them, really, and say thanks. Yes, everyone's giving money, and hopefully the weekend everyone will just be able to pick out £1 and put it in a bucket for us, but that's the plan.
Well, great stuff there from Ty, and that's the hot favourite 101 machine of David Knight.
But you never know, with this race, it's a bit of a lottery at times, so I've prepared everything as good as I can possibly do it, and everything's been tested, checked, and now it's just see what happens tomorrow. Is up to me, and hopefully everything will stay in one piece and get to the finish. Preparation's most of it. You can never do enough preparation for this race, but even then, you always get something stupid that goes like, I've never finished. Every year I finish the race, I've won, and every time I've won, I've had no either one brake, like a hose ripped off, or not just like pads wearing out, because that happens every year anyway, but like brake hose ripped off or disc bent in half, and something stupid. So every time I've won, no brakes. That might be the idea. Just rip the brakes off, and then that's the key to doing it.
So here we go there, and here's the number 20 machine of Ty Kellett, who we've just spoken to. An incredible return to racing. Nearly lost his life here and made a remarkable return. And just 12 months later, after in training, just shows you just how much he loves this sport. He's making a return here to Weston for the 28th running. And here we are down on the line, the gates open. We're with the number 49 machine of Philip Studley on the Pool Motorcycles Yamaha 250, blasting away. Now this blasts straight up into the first little dune before they go onto the big start straight. Just over a mile now as they power along here. And look at that absolutely fantastic sight there. Over 500 riders, and that's Jamie Lewis and Scott Elderfield just powering down there. Over 100 miles an hour they'll be reaching. Back on board now with number 49, Philip Studley. And just listen to the sound of the machines ripping down that beach there. Absolutely phenomenal sight. Really is a true iconic sight in motorsport as these guys coming down towards us. And look at David Knight taking the whole shot, looking over his shoulder. You see Jamie Lewis up on his inside, Scott Elderfield there in third, also looking for Tom Church going through. Good start there as well for Luke Hawkins as the rest of the field, well over 500 riders making a start for this one. Absolutely, just an unbelievable sight as the riders disappearing down into the spray. And of course, a fantastic crowd to witness it this year. Fantastic weather conditions the year before, driving rain and wind, not making it the most pleasurable experiences. To be fair though, the last couple of years we have had a couple of meetings where we have enjoyed unseasonably good weather, and just look at that there. Huge plumes of sand being thrown up by the machines as they work their way up through the first opening dunes. Absolutely incredible sight, and very shortly we'll be picking up with our race leaders, but we're now back on board with number 49, Philip Studley, powering his way through the first opening dunes. You can see the sand being thrown up at the machines. Great action shots there we're getting courtesy of Philip Studley. And this is through it's quite a good motocross section really to stretch them out. Before they used to hit a huge dune, used to have a lot of bottlenecks, but here we go, picking up with our leaders, and it's going to be the number 60 machine of Elderfield coming down towards us, Scott Elderfield. And what a remarkable year he's had this year, winning the Pro MX2 and Pro MX1 in the British Masters. He really has just come alive this year, Scott Elderfield, and a remarkable story. Scott nearly retiring at such a tender age. Wasn't even going to race this year, came back from California, was going to hang up his boots, and then he came back at the British Masters, and what a phenomenal return he's done, clinching the MX1 and MX2 Pro classes. So Scott Elderfield is absolutely attacking his circuit round here, and it's whether the bike will hold up, because Scott is not an easy rider on the machines. So Scott Elderfield, David Knight, you can see the 101 machine very close behind him there at the moment in second place, and that bit of steam just coming off Elderfield's machine, that's just like water splash to the heat off the engine, and Elderfield just powering through there like it was a full-on motocross. And we're back on board now with 49, Philip Studley on the Pool Motorcycles Yamaha, and you can see a lot of standing water out on the circuit there. Well, Elderfield and David Knight there. Let's go and join Jamie Lewis.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, it was cancelled last year, and I was actually in the lead at the time, so it was a bit of a shame. So, yeah, the weather looks good, and it looks set to have a good race. Yeah, it is pretty tough, 3 hours, but it's one of the last events of the year, and it's a bit of fun. But I quite like riding the sand, and yeah, I enjoy the race, so I keep coming back. I try and keep it simple, just stop twice and keep the bike pretty set up the same as the motocross, just change the gearing for the long straight, bigger tank obviously because it's 3 hours, and yeah, just ride as fast as they can for 3 hours.
Well, nice interview there from Jamie Lewis, and Jamie's sitting in about third position at the moment, and Jamie also having a very good year, also in good runnings with the MX23 Championships, and finished second in the Masters. As down towards as they come, David Knight absolutely flat down on the tank there as they come, and we did have a rider just injured. You can see the ambulances to the right, and we're back on board with Philip Studley. Philip Studley just coming onto the start straight, waving to the crowd there as he comes down there, and you can see just how rough, and just listen to the sound. It's absolutely phenomenal as they come down that straight, and the front end of those machines, and Philip Studley just casually waving to the crowd. Great action shots we're getting there. Just coming through, that's the 230 machine. One rider just getting run over there, but that's all part of the Western experience, I suppose you could say. You fall down on the blind side of those dunes. It's deep sand, and some of the riders are not carrying a lot of speed when they come through. And this is 6:25 just coming through, Paul Patrick. And in the comedy boobs and Brazilian lifeguard outfit, and that is all part of the fun of the Western Beach Race. A lot of riders out there riding for charity, and a lot of wear fancy dress outfits as well. They have a fantastic weekend all weekend. 175, Richard Tapley coming through there from Canterbury on the green Kawasaki machine, just on the outside, on the Honda machine, sorry. It looks like we've got 32 going through. Dal Rayner from Colville. There's the rest of the field bouncing the way through, and a selection of Mohicans there, and the crowd absolutely loving this. I mean, October, and all the crowd love it with t-shirts, and here we go, Western Carnage. This is what the crowds come to see, the riders getting stuck on big dunes, comedy hats and carnage. That's what Western has become famous for. One rider really in a bit of a predicament there behind her. We're out at the end of the start straight. A few riders, you'll see them shaking their hands, a lot of them getting arm pump. That's just to free up the forearm muscles, really start to go and tighten up. There's the rest of the field coming down towards us, and you can see the front end of that guy on the inside, on the right hand side. Just what I was saying earlier about the machines even twitching along the start straight. The riders cannot relax all the way around this circuit. It is an absolute tough, extreme test of endurance. And this is why the crowds are flocked to watch it. Absolutely fantastic stuff we're getting here this weekend for the 28th running now of this event.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a good bit of fun, like, you know, in a good achievement. Hopefully, if we can come in with a good result. So yeah, not quite my expertise on the sand, like, you know, obviously, like you say, I'm on the tarmac boy, like, but no, really buzzing for the opportunity to go out and see how we can get on.
Right, we're now back with David Knight cutting through the traffic. Paul Patrick as well going through there, and some of the riders still stuck all over those dunes. And that looks like that's going to be 2:48. That's Jim French there, trying to fire that machine back up into life, going up for the push over the dune option. Jim French managing to get the machine going again. At the end of the start straight, coming down here towards us again now, and into that first turn area. Some of these riders taking a more leisurely approach to some of our pro riders that we've seen absolutely attacking the start straight. And you can see some of the field now working their way through, and that's standing water, really deep in places. And some of the riders are going to be very careful, because if you haven't prepped your bike properly, you're going to be having all sorts of problems with the machine cutting out as the race goes on, and it's going to get deeper as well, because it just digs out. Now that's Ryan Williams, number 65, one of our riders making his debut in the pro ranks, finished third in the Masters MXY2 Championships, and I think he's riding his dad's KX250 out there as well at the moment. Normally rides on a KTM 250F. Well, we just saw him just pushing his bike through that dune, so Ryan struggling a bit there. Just catching a glimpse of him. Back down on the end of the start straight now, and look at Elderfield. Elderfield weaving his way through the field there. You can see in the Dayglow orange helmet. Just making no light work of that traffic there as he goes through. And some of these clubroom riders, it's a fantastic experience because they really do get to ride with world-class riders out there. Some of them are just glad to finish a lap out there. You can see one rider almost going into reverse as the guy next to him starting to bury that machine, and that's 4:35 in the puddle there. That's Michael Dowson making a very long trip from Whitby, and certainly wants to get that machine going. It's a very long trip for nothing there as he's trying to kick that machine into life. Number 2 there, Luke Hawkins, one of our young riders, and also riding a 250 two-stroke Honda. Let's go and have a word with some of our young riders taking part today. This is Dan Thornhill and Ryan Williams.
I'm feeling really great. You know, the youth races are in the past now, and I'm stepping up to the big bikes. Oh yeah, I've been training a bit harder, you know, like as I step up onto the bigger bike as well. I did a 3-hour enduro previous to get used to the duration. It's a really long time.
I feel pretty good. I reckon the 3-hour race will be real hard on my endurance, but like used to riding the 20-minute races and short sprints really. But I think I should be all right as long as I look for my lines, find a good rider to tag along with, and just steal his lines basically.
So let's rejoin our race now. 101, David Knight absolutely ripping through the field there. And David Knight putting in a stellar performance at the moment, lapping up to about 7th place at the moment in the race, and fastest lap out there as well. David Knight posted a 3:03.52, absolutely scorching round. That was on lap 2 that David Knight put that lap in. So David Knight powering his way around, making it look very, very easy. 4 times World Enduro Champion and 5-time winner of the Western Beach Race as well. But 1 time on a quad. He's still got to do another solo win if he wins this weekend to beat Rob Meek's string of 5 race wins. And David Knight powering his way around, and you can see the track just literally meandering around the beach. David Knight powers his way through. At the moment it's Jamie Lewis in 2nd place. Elderfield's dropping back slightly. We think Elderfield's got some bike problems, and one rider facing completely the wrong way altogether there. And Marshall's doing a great job. Well, there's Elderfield coming through, and as I say, we think he's struggling with bike problems. He's dropped a couple of positions down on the laps now. So Tom Church is in 2nd, Jamie Lewis, Luke Hawkins, Aaron Pullman, and Elderfield dropping down. There's Luke Hawkins going through in 4th position at the moment. And I haven't had a shot of Tom Church going through at the moment, number 24 on the CCM. But Tom Church is putting in some very strong laps. He's posted a 3:11.14, which he also put on his 2nd lap. So he's putting in good solid times. A bit more carnage on the dunes there. So we'll try and pick out a shot of Tom Church, but Tom Church sitting in 2nd place at the moment, chasing hard after David Knight. Luke Hawkins is in 4th position after Jamie Lewis in 3rd. Aaron Pullman now up there as well. Daniel McCanny and Jamie McCanny, 2 brothers, and Daniel McCanny coming back from 2 broken legs, so a good ride there from Daniel McCanny in 5th position. And you can see the track really starting to deteriorate there. 101, David Knight making it look very, very easy. He comes through. Great action shots we're getting here from our cameras this weekend. And Ty Kellett there, number 20, he's battling away with Ty Kellett. And Ty Kellett having a phenomenal ride, but that is just showing just David Knight is absolutely barnstorming his way through the field. But while we look at David Knight, let's go and have a word with David Knight's girlfriend, Tara Greiger.
I've just been over at David's and oh man, and went to his last world round and just been over kind of taking a break after the series over in America, and he was coming out for the weekend to race, so I just decided I might as well give it a try. Yeah, it's not, 3 hours out there looked brutal, and all the salt and all that water and everything, but Hopefully, I've done the Red Bull knockout race in Holland a couple years ago, and that was the only beach race I've ever done. So, hopefully we'll do all right tomorrow.
Well, great stuff there from Tara Greiger, and I can tell you Tara, a very accomplished motocross rider, finishing third in the Ladies' Championships, the AMA Nationals this year, and also the only woman to ride for the Puerto Rican team. And Tara Greiger riding into third in the AMA Nationals, and the only woman to take part in the Motocross of Nations, riding for the Puerto Rican team. And back on board now with number 49, Philip Studley, just showing how the track's deteriorated. You saw some of that standing water there, and Philip Studley absolutely hammering through there. And you can see, just looking down at these two straightaways now, the riders almost paddling their way through. It really started to dig out massive ruts through there now. An incredible sight there that our cameraman guys are getting as they go through. Really is just an effort just to get around this track. The riders are battling away. Looking for 95, Jamie Mechanic. As I say, Jamie Mechanic, very promising young rider. His brother Daniel out there as well, coming back from 2 broken eggs. A great shot of Jamie Lewis now. Now watch Jamie through this rhythm section, and Jamie absolutely barnstorming away. You could see the other rider just cruising through, and Jamie Lewis almost attacking like a full-on motocross Grand Prix there. Just powering his way through the traffic. Very impressive stuff. And the marshals back on the move. Another rider going down. And this event absolutely indebted to the marshals. They do a fantastic job as 413 just drops it on the dune there. That's David Jones. And straight away the marshals there doing a fantastic job. Yellow flags out, also give him a hand. As 101, David Knight comes through, making it look absolutely effortlessly. I don't think we've seen David Knight put a foot wrong yet. Absolutely stunning display of riding. Showing why he's just accomplished his 4th world title. Powering away down, a couple of riders going for the paddle and waddle method. Great shot there of the crowd in the background there, enjoying the sunshine. Beautiful weather conditions that the crowd were blessed with for this year's Western Beach Race. Back down on the start straight, and you can see a bit further up now, and you can just see some of the front ends of these machines just twitching there. The riders really getting the weight back over the back end, keep them as light as they can. So you can see what I mean when we don't even have a chance to breathe down the start straight. Well, number 2, Luke Hawkins coming through there. And Luke Hawkins very lucky there. Luke Hawkins getting completely taken out. A rider just cutting straight across the front of him. And as he kept them, he's going to have to restart the machine. But Luke Hawkins, very lucky. Came out of that dune, started to power along towards the straight, towards the finish area. And that rider just turned straight across him. And Luke Hawkins, incredibly lucky. It didn't damage the bike there. One rider just coming down, waving to all the crowd there. And let's go have a word with Tom Church.
Yeah, it should be good. The weather's good, and that's always a plus at the beach race. And yeah, looking forward to it. It's a one-off, and yeah, like you say, put it on your CV. It'd be really nice, and I'd really love to win it. So, I haven't got really a plan for the race. I'm just going to get out there and see how it goes. Push quite hard at the beginning, and kind of see how it unfolds. You can't really have a plan for this race, and hopefully, everything will be all right, and it'll go all right, and we'll make it to the finish, and hopefully win.
Well, we're now rejoining the race, and this is coming to the closing stages, and you're going to see a lot of images like that now. David Knight powering through, making it look very easy, but a lot of these riders are really going to be starting to suffer with fatigue now. David Knight just literally filling that rider in with a face full of roofs, and you can see that guy's just going to park there and wait till that downslope is clear. You can see machines just being dropped all around the circuit now. They're becoming incredibly heavy. 3 hours they'll have been out there for, in deep energy sapping sand, and you're constantly fighting the bikes as well, because the sand is so soft, the machines just want to go all over the place. And after you've been kick-starting it and lifting it up for a couple of hours, your body is absolutely screaming at you. But one rider making it look easy at the moment, number 2, Luke Hawkins. And Luke Hawkins in 3rd position at the moment behind Jamie Lewis and David Knight. in 4th position, sorry, Tom Church up there as well. So Luke Hawkins going to that water splash, making it look very easy, hard on the gas, but you can see these riders are really starting to struggle now. Steam coming off the machines. And literally everywhere you look now, riders, the fatigue is really starting to hit in. Their limbs are starting to ache now. Almost your peripheral vision starts to go. You actually think you've come here to have fun, but their bodies are screaming at them. They're just absolutely exhausted now. And this probably feels like the last place they want to be on Earth at the moment. And even this little straightaway, what should really be an easy straight, you can see some of those ruts digging out. You just got to jump into the wrong rut. But we now rejoin number 49, Philip Studley, and you can see how deteriorated that track's going through. It all standing water there as well now. They're constantly fighting these machines, looking for these lines, and you can see even just cresting the top of the hill, just riders just falling left, right and centre at the moment. As we now get a shot of number 3, Jamie Lewis, going through. Look how whooped that's got through there, and that rider just can't even get up the start of that bank there. And that's AD Evis 312. Well, he's going back against the traffic there. Bit of a brave move there. He'll get a good run up at the dune again. So Andy Evis goes up there. Andy Evis just gets to the top, and just showing what a struggle it is now as we are coming towards the closing stages of this one. The track's deteriorating so badly now. There are just so many ruts and lines all the way around, and this guy, even the flamingo strapped to his back, is starting to look the worse for wear. That's 401 there, Ian Cooper. He managed to keep the machine running. He's pushing it to the top. So energy sapping this steep sand here. There's another rider just going down and another one just avoiding him. So you get the initial carnage, and it kind of settles down during the race, and then towards the closing stages it just becomes absolutely brutal. As we now go and have a word with Josh Coppins.
This is my 3rd time, so kind of a local race for me now. I live just up in near Bath, so looking forward to it. My last race as, let's say, a professional in Europe, so I'd like to go out with a good race. Well, it's funny, the first time I rode it I was 2nd, and they got cut short. It was only 2 hours instead of 3 because of an accident. And then the 2nd time I raced it, I come in a bit sort of like blasé, I was kind of, it's easy, first time 2nd, no problem. And I just ran out of puff. I underestimated, I wasn't prepared, and I wasn't organised. So today I'm much more organised, and I want to finish 3 hours because I haven't done that yet. The first one was 2 hours, and the last one I didn't finish. So I have got a bit of a game plan, but Western Beach Race game plans don't normally go to plan, so I think it's just trying to be ready for all kinds of situations.
Well, words there from Josh Coppins, and I say Josh Coppins retiring from his Grand Prix career, and it would have been great to see him getting a finish here at this year's Weston, but unfortunately his Aprilia machine expired early in the race, and Josh Coppins making a return back to his native New Zealand. Well, 243 there, Chris Scott's machine stuck right up to its rear mudguard there, and that's just along that straightaway, so you can imagine how tough conditions are getting out there. And you can see one rider just over on the other side just trying to extract his machine, some of them getting through okay, and if you just take the wrong rut, it can be game over there for you. Coming through on top of that dune, that's Tom Church. Oh, number 24, Tom Church. We finally get a shot of Tom Church sitting in 2nd place, and literally Tom just dropping the machine right in front of us. So that shows you even our top guys out there can struggle out there. The conditions really starting to deteriorate. And Tom Church, just the front wheel just tucking in there in the loose sand to kick that CCM back into life. Another machine, looks like the rear wheels locked solid on there, carrying the machine off. That's number 70 coming through there, Aaron Pullman, making it look very easy. Aaron Pullman sitting in 4th position at the moment, working his way through the traffic very aggressively there, and all that smoke, don't worry folks, that's just the water, just off that water splash, just burning off his hot machine there as he goes through. And another rider just parked in a very precarious position. There's number 37 just running over his wheels, and this guy coming through here with a Shaun the Sheep strapped to his helmet. I do love some of the things that they have there strapped to the helmets. Well, on 44, he's got the machine back up as a safe look round, and you can see the riders struggling all around now. Another 2 riders, and they're just really struggling just to pick the machines up there, locked together. They're absolutely exhausted, and of course when you get into the fatigue is setting in like this, that man there just absolutely in pain there, taking a bit of a knock there, and yet he'll still be determined to get back out there and finish the Western Beach Race. Another guy going down right in front of our cameras. It really is shaping up to be drama here now. 24, Tom Church. He's pushing his machine off the side of the track. Well, we haven't had many shots, but Tom Church had been sitting in second place all the way through and had been pushing hard down onto the rear wheel of David Knight. And Tom Church, his machine has expired and pushing the machine off. Well, this man here now, 101, David Knight, will have a very clear gap over him, over second place rider Jamie Lewis. Luke Hawkins will now be moved up into third, and just over 3 minutes left on the clock as well now. Aaron Pullman in fourth position, and Daniel McKenney in fifth, and Jamie McKenney in sixth as we rejoin 49 Philip Studley. But drama and the closing stages of this one now. Back down on that straight, right down on the far end of the circuit. You can see a lot of riders got a long way to go. It was a great view of the powerboat there, getting probably the best way to get along the beach, instead of everybody really struggling out there now. And you can just see how many ruts there are out there, and just how much the track has deteriorated, and yet the riders are still battling on. Just to some of these riders, just to say they've finished the Western Beach Race is an accomplishment enough, let alone get a podium position and be battling for the lead. As they're coming through, you can see that 2:32, I think it is, they're just struggling to get to the top there. But here they come round towards the finish. These riders just waiting for the win to go so they can cross the line. 101, David Knight takes the win. Let's go and have a word with our winners.
Right, we're down here with our winner of the 28th running of the Western Beach Race. David, that was an epic ride. Just talk us through it a bit.
Needs to be 4 hours next year. Not. But no, just got to just steady start. Up the straight, this thing was rapid. Didn't expect it to be that